Good morning. This is Ben Phillips with the Sabrena and Ben Radio Hour, and I have Sabrena here with me, and we are just so happy to have everybody on the air today.
Ben, we're so excited to have you back from the beach.
You know, I'm kind of just a little bit slow. Kind of got that beach thing going on.
Well, it's all right.
Yeah,
you work hard. You're entitled to it.
Entitled? Right. I don't know about that, but
so you've been out there with the kids.
That's it. It's all about the children's. And, you know, right before school starts.
That's exactly right.
Thursday's the big day, Hamilton County, for most kids. But we're going in Thursday to meet his new teachers. And
how exciting. Now, what grade are your kids in now?
Kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Who's taking them that day? You or your wife?
I'll be there. On the first day, I've got to be there.
Both of you
try to be strong.
Yeah. So if you need any,
be strong.
If you're wondering what interest rates are on Thursday, you're gonna have to wait a couple hours, all right? Now, listen. The Sabrena and Ben Radio Hour, Real Estate Hour, is all about homes, and that's why we're gonna talk about jobs today. That's why we're gonna talk about heat and air today.
We'll talk about development, growth,
politics, national, local.
We talk about it all.
Absolutely.
Everything that affects you.
Why do we talk about it all, Sabrena?
Because it's all important.
It's
all
important
stuff, and everything affects you. It doesn't matter. You know, people that don't want to get involved in politics, listen, it matters who governs. These people that make the decision, these decisions have a direct impact on your life, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
So it's just smart to be informed and be involved and be up on the issues.
The first words of it, the Constitution, we the people.
Oh, yeah.
So we do control government, and government creates regulation and enforces regulation, and that impacts the home industry significantly.
Absolutely.
Big time.
From land, I mean, we've been fighting over land for thousands of years, and let's face it, land is not going to continue. It's going to continue to be an opportunity for us to achieve what we want to achieve in life.
Right.
So, hey, look, if you have a question today, we would like to hear from you. Just call us in at this is Hot News Talk Radio, 12:40 a.m. You're probably listening either for the first time or the 50th time. And we want to hear from you. 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. Just call us at any time, and we'll try to text your questions as we go.
It doesn't matter if it's pertaining to real estate. If you're thinking about selling a home, buying a home, feel free to call us with any questions. Free advice. And also, if you're thinking about getting a loan, Ben is the expert on home loans. He's got all kinds available. He can tailor any type of loan to suit your needs.
That's right.
Right, Ben?
Yeah, and we have new products to talk about, and interest rates is something that everybody wants to know about.
Exactly.
So should I go ahead and spit it out, or should I save it for later?
Well, whatever you want to do. It's your hour.
We got to
keep them hanging around a little bit.
Make them wait. It's your show, Ben.
So, look, if you want to get a quote on a house today, maybe it's your first time buying a house, you've got some questions.
That's right.
You need good leadership. You don't just call a real estate agent. There's 1,000 of those, and about 100 of them do all the work. And Sabrena Smedley is here. She does that work. She carries that. I trust in Sabrena, and you should too. So give her a call today and get your first home or your second home bought today. 499-7780. 423-499-7780. She has people standing by. Would love to answer those questions. And let's get started.
That's right. And we've got some great listings at SabrenaRealty.com too. And as you know, the market is hot right now. And speaking of hot and things heating up, let's bring in our guest. We have with us today Wendell Whitmire. He's the owner of General Heating and Air Conditioning. And I bet, Wendell, you are busy this time of year, are you not?
Oh, yes. We're running as fast as we can go.
I know. I've had to call you out myself at my office. I tell you, as hot as it's been. I mean,
we in Chattanooga are not used to this kind of hot weather for this long time. We're used to 90 degree, 95 plus for maybe a week at a time. That's a good idea. Have it 6-8 weeks in a row. Air conditioners are just not designed. People around here are not accustomed to hot weather.
Yeah, well, that's what we're hearing in the news, indeed. So you can validate that fact then? That it's...
Oh, yeah. Yes. It's working the machines we design at 95 degrees Chattanooga market. When it's this hot, the units are going to be running basically 24/7 as long as it's 95 degrees.
Well, Wendell, if I'm a new client, so I'm just an average person driving down the road right now, and I've got air conditioning issues. The first thing I want to know is who I'm talking to. You're from this area, right?
Yes, I was born and raised right here in Chattanooga.
Okay, tell us about your company and how it started.
I was working for a company here in Chattanooga, and I came in one day and they said they weren't going to have a heating and air conditioning department anymore. So I said, well, what about selling me the service department? So in October of 1982, I bought the service department and started general heating and air conditioning.
Hold up a second. 1982. 1982?
Yeah, I know that's older than you are.
No, I was 5, but interest rates were 17%. So good. No, good. Wow, that's awesome. So you've been doing this right here since 1982.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm that client driving down the road listening to Hot News Talk Radio, and now I've got somebody I can trust because he's been doing it for a very long time, right?
Well, that's what we build our company on, is our honesty, our straightforward. We try to treat people right, and I'm not trying to get rich off of any one person.
Takes a volume.
It takes a volume to do, and so we try to do it right.
And it's important to get somebody that's licensed too. Not everybody really understands heating and air. I think it's important to have a licensed professional.
Yes, I have a Tennessee license, a Georgia state license, and an Alabama license. So I've worked all around to try to take care of the people in our market right here. Okay,
look, if you're out to lunch right now and you need your air conditioner worked on today, go ahead and jot down this number, 423-899-8861. Is that right, Wendell?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you can get in touch with Wendell today or next week about your air conditioning. And you do the servicing as well, right?
Yes, we do maintenance, repair, replacement. That's our forte.
Now, go ahead.
Talk to us a little bit about that. Like for anybody listening right now, what are some things they can do to maintain their system, and then kind of transition into let them know how often they should get it?
Well, we recommend you get it serviced twice a year, once in the spring for the air conditioning and once in the fall for your heating. The main thing to do is to keep your eye on your air conditioner when you're out mowing your yard. A lot of people don't realize that when they're mowing their grass, they throw grass up on the condenser coil, and anything that blocks the airflow across that will stop the unit from working as efficient as it needs to. Dust, dirt, that kind of stuff will get in the coils and act like insulation and keep it from circulating the air properly. So you need to make sure you keep that clean. That's something that you could do, maybe take the garden hose and rinse it off after you mow the yard. The other thing that we run into a lot this time of the year is the condensate drain stopping up. Most everybody has their furnace in their basement or garage or something like that, and you can go in there, and a lot of times we'll put a T in the line where you can pour some Clorox or something down that line, which will keep the algae from building up and keeping the drain clean. And those are two maintenance tips that I think everybody could do to their air conditioners and keep them going.
I guess the cleaner that drain hole is, the easier it is to cool off and keep the coils and all that.
The big thing is we fight humidity in the Chattanooga area. Humidity is one of the biggest issues with air conditioning. And that humidity drains away off of your air conditioner because an air conditioner by nature is a dehumidifier.
Wow.
So you take that moisture away out of your house, and it's got to go somewhere. And that drain is what it's put there, to do. But when it gets stopped up, then it runs out on your floor or your ceiling or your basement or wherever. So again, it just takes a little maintenance and a little tender love and care to keep it operating properly.
How important is it to change those filters? I notice when I'm showing houses, and we'll open and look, and you'll see like filthy filter.
And they're bowed in where the air's pulling them.
Well, air conditioning is just that. It's air circulating and moving one way or the other, whether it's outside your house or inside your house. So anything that restricts the airflow is going to cut down on the efficiency of the air conditioner. So it is vitally important that you change your air filters. Check them monthly. Our recommendation is when you go to sign your electric bill, you're going to send your check for your electricity. Before you sign that check, go check your air filter and make sure that it's clean and maybe needs to be replaced, but check it every month, whether you have to replace it every month or not, but check it before you sign your electric check.
It's kind of funny to me because as you're sitting here telling me these tips, and I realized that I've owned a home for 15 years, I realized that there's some things I just didn't know. I wasn't thinking about it as a humidity remover, and yet that's a very interesting point. And I think about how that impacts the home market and how foreclosures happen, and how that in turn really impacts our values of our homes and our future equity and our retirement and how we can enjoy life with our children and our children's children. And it just all comes to this weird thing about responsibility,
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's a machine. It's a man-made machine operating to keep your home comfortable. You have to be able to keep it operating. You don't get in your car and drive it until suddenly the thing quits. You keep a check on it. Every 3,000 miles, you go get your oil change, all the other maintenance things that goes along with the car. Air conditioning is probably the least maintenance thing in somebody's house, but it's one of the most important things to keep your castle comfortable.
Right. And a $5,000 bill can, let's say a millennial buys a home, gets it financed through me and buys it through Sabrena. And now they have this air conditioning thing. They don't know about the humidity. They don't know about the drain cleaning. They don't know about, who to call for reputation. They're just going to go to Google and say, call an air conditioning place, and they might get somebody not reputable. Right. And so it's funny how just this show in of itself can tell someone, hey, this is let's say a $75 maintenance fee for you to come out there, right? Is that kind of the going deal?
Our maintenance is $85 for cleaning the condenser coil, checking the operation of the air conditioner.
So a millennial that's new to homes, just like I bought my first car one time, they're hearing the show and they hear that, hey, you know what? Spend this $85 to avoid a $7,000 catastrophe that ends up you not happy as a homeowner, ends you, not paying the mortgage bill, getting foreclosed on, and then impacting the economy.
Absolutely.
So $85, folks, it's just maintaining your air conditioning system. I do mine, and I don't have to know about the humidity thing, but I do know that $85 becomes really valuable.
That's a no-brainer. I mean, that really is a no-brainer. I'm curious, how important is it, Wendell, when we're talking about maintenance? How important is it to get the ducts clean? And how often do you recommend that?
Oh yeah, I want to know that.
Well, that's a debatable question. There's a lot of people think that they should have their ducts cleaned every 2 to 5 years, something along those lines. I struggle with finding the right instrument to clean ducts that doesn't tear them up or make a bigger problem than to start with. I know they make some machines that will do that. My company does not do duct cleaning.
Because of the liability of it?
Well, the liability and the fact that, to clean it right, you need something to swirl around and scratch the duct. And most ducts have insulation on the inside, so you can tear it up. I prefer just to put a good filtering system on there and clean the air. And
well, tell me what can collect in the duct work? Like what's bad for our health that can collect in ductwork? Because there's all these places that advertise all this $500 clean your ductwork. So what is it in the ductwork that really happens as long as you do your filters right?
If you keep your filters clean and changed and done properly, and you use a good quality filter, not the cheapest thing you can find, but most everybody was told to put the cheapest filter they can in there. Well, those will catch the golf ball size pieces of dust. The other stuff will go right on through and collect in the duct. The idea is to keep your air clean. If you've got clean air passing through the ducts, what is there left to catch in there? If you're getting mold and mildew and stuff in your ducts, and you're getting moisture in there, where's that moisture coming from? It's got to be building, because that's what mold and all grows off of is humidity. So if you've got a good quality air conditioner, you've got a good drain, you've got a good control, that stuff shouldn't be there. Now, if you
But we
get
usually,
into-
but we usually buy houses from someone that's lived in it, so we're relying on them as well to take care of it. So then let's get to the nitty gritty of how long can ducks really last before they just obviously are going to collect some bad things. Like, should ducks be replaced every 20 years?
you know, if you've had somebody in a home that has not taken care of, you know, you may have to replace the duct. Problem you run into is a lot of these older homes have concealed duct where you can't get to them.
Hidden behind sheetrock.
Hidden behind the sheetrock above the ceiling where you can't do it. We have a treatment that we can do that we spray into the duct system. They used it a lot down in Louisiana when Hugo came through. So, you know, it's a proven treatment that you can do.
Well, we have a caller, so let's take a call. All right, caller, go ahead.
You've been mentioning, our guest says that the cheapest ducts are, cheapest filters rather, are not to be used. The implication is that one should spend more money on maybe a $15 or $20 filter. But my heat and air man said the following, that if you have the expensive filters, you're putting more strain on the compressor and making your unit do more work and reducing the life. I'll listen on the air. Thanks.
There are some filters there are some filters that do restrict the airflow. So you have to be cautious about which ones there are. There's a $5 to $8 filter that you can get that is made that gives you about twice or three times the filtering space that will catch a lot more dust and dirt than the others. There are some that may have 100 times the filtering space, but they do restrict the airflow, and you have to be cautious of which ones you get.
Is that something you can tell, like when you go to do your maintenance twice a year, can you tell if the unit is getting strain on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We can normally tell just by looking at the pressures on the condenser.
So maybe buy a mid-range filter, sir, and just, you know, be consistent about it.
Change it a little more often on
Well,
time.
but be consistent about what filter you're using. That way you could know if that filter is going to be causing a problem long term or not. But
is there a particular brand of unit that you think is the best? I mean, if somebody's having to replace their unit, what do you recommend? And what is the average lifespan too of a unit, one that's been well maintained?
The average life of a system is 12 to 14 years. Some people will say a gas furnace may last 20 years, but, you know, I found that 12 to 14 is about the average lifespan of a compressor type unit. Everybody has a different product that they like, from whether it's a Ford or a Chevrolet, and there's a lot of different brands. My main line is Bryant. It's a good quality product. I'm a factory authorized dealer for Bryant. That sounds like a big fancy tag, but it just means that I've gone the extra mile, taken some extra classes, got some extra training. But if I put a system in your house, I can give you 100% satisfaction guarantee in the first year, so that if anything goes wrong with that unit, I can go out, repair it, and or replace it. If you don't like that unit, you don't like the sound of it, you don't like the color of it, if it's something that we can't resolve, then I'm authorized to go out and put you a unit in there to do, as they say, whatever it takes to make you a satisfied customer. And that's really the bottom line for my whole business. Do whatever it takes to make sure that you're satisfied and it's doing what it's supposed to.
That's why you've been in business.
Well, I
34 years.
I think it's definitely helped. That's for sure.
Let me ask you about this, because I've noticed the problem when I'm showing property. Sometimes when you go in, you'll see a stain on the ceiling. Or sometimes you'll even see a stain like in a basement where you know the ductwork runs through. And obviously that's from condensation. In this time of year, I know that the units are working double time and stuff. What causes that, or what could be some causes of that?
Well, the basic thing is that's just circulating whatever's in the air in the house. If somebody smokes, if they do a lot of cooking that has grease or whatever that gets circulated in the house, that's circulating around and that's blowing out and coming out through the ducts and so forth. If you see sweating ducts, then there's something wrong in the airflow. It could be the squirrel cage in the blower motor is dirty and not moving the air that it once did. It may just mean a little maintenance, a little cleaning. It may be that they haven't changed their filters properly, or they ran it without filters for a while. So that stuff will blow out and around. So the idea is to, again, personal maintenance, check your filters and replace them regularly.
And yeah, and that's why you obviously want to be looking at that stuff. When you're looking at a home, you want to look at those, where the air comes out. You want to be looking at there, and does it look just like the rest of the house, or does it look different? Does it look water stained? Does it have like little rust stuff on it? Because I've been to those houses too, and it's a sign that the unit has not been worked properly, which is a sign that 12 to 14 years is out the window, right?
Well, anything can shorten the life of a system. That's for sure.
Right. Now, do you offer, as far as if I bought a Bryant system from you today, you got all the different sizes, the 2.5, 3.5 ton, all that good stuff, warranty?
Yes. Most of the new products now all have 10-year parts warranties on there. And the key to that is if you register it. We've had a lot of people that sold products or thought they were buying products that, quote, had 10-year warranties, and come to find out that their dealer did not register it, or they didn't know they had to register it, and they ended up with a 5-year warranty instead of 10. So it is very important to deal with a reputable company, somebody that's going to do what you need to do.
Okay. So so you'll help your clients with that process and ensure that they have that warranty and such.
Most of the time, what I will do is go and register it as soon as we get the product in. We're turning it on.
Do it for them.
Yes.
What areas do you service real quick, since we're running out of town?
All of the Chattanooga area within 60 miles of the airport.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, that makes it simple. So go ahead and MapQuest your airport. Look, if you'd like to get a hold of General Electric, 423-899-8861. Wendell will help you with your AC, your heating needs. That's coming around the corner too. And, maintenance folks, so we're talking about $85 to maintain your unit, so that you don't have the $5,000 to $7,000 expense of replacing it and the headache.
Well, and something else about that, keeping it maintained, that's going to allow it to work more efficiently, which means your power bill is going to be less, which means that $85 you're probably going to get back plus some.
Amen.
Speaking of efficiency, if you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home, you need to call us today. Call Sabrena Realty, 423-499-7780. That's 499-7780. Go to our website, SabrenaRealty.com. We have some great listings. There are some really good deals right now. And Ben, if they're thinking about buying, I know you're ready to pre-qualify them and let them know
absolutely
how much they can spend. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of different products out there. So you just need answers from a loan officer, a licensed loan officer that has experience in getting a lot of loans done, a lot of different types. So give us a call today, 423-805-9100. It's a 10-minute phone call, and there's no obligation. So why wouldn't you call? Listen, folks, we're going to be right back, 12:40 a.m., Hot News Talk Radio. We got some special guests coming up. Continue our talks on politics, jobs, and some other things going on, how it impacts the real estate market. We'll see you in a few. Hey, we're back from our commercial break. We got to pay the bills, right?
That's right.
So now that we paid the bills, it's time to come back to the Hot News Talk Radio, 12:40 a.m. This is Ben Phillips. And
hey, we're taking calls today. Call us. The phone lines are open, 423-800-8949. If you got any questions pertaining to real estate, mortgages, anything going on in the community, anything political you want to talk about,
amen,
call us.
Yeah. We want some mean people too. We'll take it.
Well, we're bringing in our next guest. We have Sterling Jeton here, and he drove from over in our neck of the woods from East Brainerd. Nice. He's the pastor of Shelter Church, does a lot for his community. He's going all the time. As a matter of fact, he's been to some mission trips and always on the go and doing great things. And Sterling, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Well, it's good to be here, and it's been good to be involved in the East Brainerd community for about 20 years now. But East Brainerd community is changing.
It is.
And
Rapidly.
The traffic's changing, schools are changing. So that's some great things to talk about. Maybe there's opportunity for us to talk about the up and coming subdivisions.
Well, let's warn our Saudi Daisy listeners out there. I know we've got a lot of people from Saudi Daisy listening to us today, and we need to warn them because I know they're wanting sewers really bad out in Saudi Daisy. And let's tell them what happens when you get sewers. Out in East Brainerd, we're very fortunate, very blessed in the East Brainerd and Appleton area. But when you bring in sewers and you bring in schools, you bring in growth. And that's what we're experiencing.
Yeah, you not only bring in growth, bring in rapid growth, which is great for the mortgage people, and it's great for real estate people. But it's also, and it's great for the community, but it really does create a crisis. And the crisis is this, that you're adding so many more people. So you're going to have schools, you got to have roads, you got to have when the sewers, water, and all those things that are taking place. And listening after, I think we've had 4 zoning meetings at Shelter Church in the last 4 weeks. And so that's been interesting to hear what is really taking place. And when sewers come, Saudi, get ready for growth. And I know you're ready for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sterling has been appointed. I know they have a Friends of Hickson that's a very active group out here in Hickson, and over on the East Brainerd side, we've got a group called the Friends of East Brainerd, and it's kind of a watchdog group, and Sterling has been appointed to be over the zoning committee. So he has been so helpful in opening up his church to have zoning meetings, because we've had one subdivision right after the other coming in and wanting to be approved. And one thing I do appreciate when a developer comes in and they say, hey, I'm here, I want to build a nice development in your community, but at the same time, I want to be a good neighbor. And I want to talk to the neighbors, and I want to have a community meeting, and I want to talk about my development and answer any questions or concerns. That's very important. People want to know what's going on, and rightfully so, because they have a home, probably their greatest investment, and they want to know how this is going to impact them in their life. So we've had some really good developers that have been very willing to engage with the community, answer questions. Sterling's been just a real trooper in opening up his church. He made a comment last night, really cracked me up. He told a group that they're becoming more regular than his church members.
Hold on. Sterling, what is the name of your church?
Shelter Church.
Shelter Church.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to go back to this word, crisis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So because I heard it emphatically from you.
Yes.
What the crisis was the fact that rapid growth, right?
Rapid growth taking place. The state is widening East Brainerd Road, but they're going to end it at a critical point where it's going to really cause a bottleneck. And at that point, it's going to be even a more crisis. As we have 6 developments that we know of, possibly 7 or 8 coming to East Brainerd, Appleton area, which is going to create over 700 lots.
700 lots. 700
lots.
So are the people flocking here, or the lots here? The lots are here, and then the people are flocking to the lots. Which one is the cause?
Well, we would say that they're flocking here because of the industrial development that the county and the city have created over the last 3 to 5 years.
Well, and that was intentional. You know, the county has invested a lot in businesses and creating opportunity and jobs. As you know, there's probably going to be 15,000 more jobs become available over the next 5 years.
Wow.
And so therefore people are coming here, they're moving in, and we've got to provide housing for them. And we're all for the growth. And keep in mind that at the county level, we have been able to avoid raising property taxes because we have been able to sustain with the growth that we've been taking in from tax revenue. And
that's a plus, by the way.
That's a plus.
It's a plus for me.
That's right. We just passed the balanced budget without a tax increase, and people don't know, but had we funded everything we were initially asked to fund, it would have required a 57-cent property tax increase.
But what about, like, I paid $7,000 last year on my mortgage business, just on the property tax, both city and county.
Yeah.
Now, what do those do? Like, do you know what those do?
Oh, yeah. I mean it funds, like the county level, is funding education, it's funding the sheriff's department, constitutional offices. And let me tell you, we're AAA bond rating. We are very, very conservative, and we're very smart with the tax dollars.
And that's not everybody. Not everybody's AAA.
And I can't speak for the city and don't want to. You know, we can have Councilman Larry Drone come in and, so I really like working with our county mayor, Jim Coppinger, and the county commission. But so I don't want to talk about that. But I mean, we have been able to avoid the tax increase since 2007 because of the growth. And let me just tell you, Ben, it's our area out there, East Brainerd, Appleton, Collegedale, and Ottawa. It's where everybody is wanting to move. And two, our schools are rated
9 out of 10.
Yeah,
I
mean, so I mean, it's where everybody wants to be. But like Sterling was saying, what we want to do is we just want to make sure that the growth is that we're maintaining
sustainable
it.
Growth,
Absolutely, and it's smart growth.
Right.
It's smart growth, and we've got to control on the situation because we don't want to create a crisis. Because I feel that if you don't plan and put in infrastructure as the need is there, then a crisis will come.
So how do we turn this crisis into an
I
opportunity?
was going to say the preference would be to try to be proactive instead of reactive. Oh my goodness! All of a sudden, we need another school. Where'd that come from? Oh, we need better roads, wider roads. You need to be proactive, seeing it coming to you, and plan for it if at all possible.
Yeah, and that comes from a great community planning through the zoning people and all. They have to probably look at that in a broader sense. But what we have now, I just helped with registration, East Brainerd Elementary. That school was brand new last year, had 900 and something students. They're possibly going to shoot at 1,100 and maximize that school already this year.
Wow.
If you get the 700 houses, you're going to have Westview and Appleton and East Brainerd are going to max out. They're going to be overflowing with nowhere to go to school. We have an opportunity with Appleton Middle School could be built out there. We already have the property acquired. You separate that out, and then the middle school and the high school will be able to maintain some of that growth. 700 homes, 2 cars per home. That's 1,400. 2 kids per home. That's 1,400 kids. That's a whole new school.
Right. So when you bottleneck going up that hill, and you put that school, I'm just going to guess here. I'm thinking that property's out there near the high school.
It is.
Okay, I figured it was. So
it's actually behind the elementary school there in Appleton.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, all in Appleton. Okay. So the Appleton Elementary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
we
right
own
there.
the property behind
Behind
it.
it.
That's where the middle school is.
Well, thank you,
It's planned
Sabrena.
to
Thank you
go.
for donating
Yeah.
that land. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Anytime.
Okay. But so are they is the state seeing, like, at what point, like, is that what this is about? Do we need to be thinking about widening that road more, or is that state?
We have to be thinking about that. And let's keep in mind that the widening of East Brainerd Road is just now underway.
Right.
And that has been in the works and being talked about since 1998. And you see how long that has taken.
And I take it every day.
To fruition. And that's why, and it's about a 10-year process.
Right.
I went and spent half a day with TDOT, and they just walked me through the process from day one of the East Brainerd Road project up to today. And it is about a 10-year planning process. It truly is. When you look at the planning all the way up to trying to acquire the property, because, they're having to negotiate with property owners to acquire property to be able to widen it. There's also, EPA regulations you got to deal with, protected waters of the state. There's so much that goes into it. So it's very time consuming. So I think, and what Sterling's saying and what we're experiencing is, for sure, we've got to start that process today, because we've got to look at East Brainerd Road, because if we're going to have all this traffic and all these people moving in, which is a good thing, then we have to address the need for another school. We have to address our infrastructure and our roads. There's just no doubt about it. And these are state roads. So it's going to require working very closely with state government, TDOT. And let me tell you, it's going to be important this next legislation session. We all need to be watching and staying tuned to the road discussion and the gas tax and what they're going to do moving forward. Because right now, Tennessee, we are a pay-as-you-go state. We don't issue bonds to build roads. And it's going to be very, very interesting. I don't think they've raised the gas tax since, the 70s, 77, 78. I mean, somewhere in there. It's been a long time. And right now, we are backlogged $6 billion. And I would think by the end of the year, they're projecting maybe $8 billion. And a lot of these are state roads. East Brainerd Road, Ottawa Ringo Road, these are state roads. So we've got to work closely together, local officials, state officials, It's going to take all of us, and we're going to all have to be forward thinking and forward planning.
And yet, when I visit other states, though, their roads are, we all roads need, a lot of roads need to be repaired. But at the same time, I got to give Tennessee credit. We've done we might have backlogs, and that might be significant, but I've definitely seen states that are in shambles. I mean, I go through Alabama. Goodness gracious. What are they doing with the money? I mean, what are they pay as you don't go? I mean, sorry. Okay.
Well, you're right.
My opinions matter.
And well, the thing is, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, get a clear picture of exactly where we are today. How much more growth can we actually still accommodate? I mean, how much
at the current tax levels?
Exactly. But before there is a crop. And so we're getting that information, looking at that. But this is just a prime example. This is a good problem. This is much better than having the flip side
Detroit.
of it. Exactly. Ghost town.
True.
It's much better.
And this impacts values as new homes are being built.
In a positive way.
Yes, absolutely.
In a positive way. And that's what we're
And that's what we all want, I think. I mean,
Ben, if you take the average house, 700 houses and at 300,000, if that's the average, and it seems to be right now to be the average house, then it's going to broaden the tax base. It's going to give us more tax dollars. But what we need is the people in East Brainerd, Appleton, need to be involved in this process.
Decision-making process.
Sabrena's done a great job of bringing the community in and needs to continue to do that. But we need other commissioners, the mayor, the state representatives to come in and listen to this problem that is right before our very eyes that we need to act on.
Right.
And if they're fast tracking Appleton Pike all the way to East Brainerd Road, there's a whole lot more traffic on East Brainerd Road than there is Appleton Pike from Ooltewah Ringo east. So we need that because of the school. There's 3 schools. Our church is 2/10 from East Brainerd Road, Ooltewah Ringo Road. Try to come down through at 7:00 in the morning.
Oh, I know. Yes, I know. Yeah. We have to take a left to go to Appleton.
Yes.
So, folks, listen up. I mean, are you hearing this? We've got the zoning. We've got the commissioner here. We're empowering you. We're empowering you to be involved and help shape up where our community is going. We want to make it a better place for all of us. And if we know that we can be involved in that decision-making process and that our voice will be heard, then really as you guys are being good leaders by, having people understand that, hey, there is a role for you. Show up. Let's shape this together as a team.
Well,
pretty cool.
And Sterling has really, I mean, he's been great to take on the zoning for the community because that's what he's appointed to do as being part of the Friends of East Brainerd. And he's also helping now. There's another group being formed, Friends of East Hamilton and Appleton, to kind of look at that area too. And so there's going to be a lot of meetings, a lot of discussion. We've got a huge meeting coming up September 19th. We're still trying to pick the right venue for that, but I'll be promoting that on the air as we finalize our plans. But this entire community meeting is going to be about this discussion. It's going to be about the growth that's happening, the growth that's taking place, what the projected future growth is, and how we're going to handle it, and how we're going to manage it, and how we're going to be smart about it. And that's what we're going to be discussing. So we're going to have representation from the Regional Planning Agency there. Sterling touched on that. They are looking right now at redoing a comprehensive growth plan. And they're looking at 3 key areas across Hamilton County. Our community is one of those. And listen, Saudi Daisy is going to experience this too. When they bring those sewers in, they're going to experience the same thing we're experiencing because it's where all the developers want to go build their subdivisions. It's where everybody wants to move when you've got the schools and the sewers. It's just a fact. And so they can learn from us,
right,
so to speak. But anyway, this is going to be a very important meeting. I think the most important thing we can do and the most important thing I can do as an elected representative is educate the people and just be very open and honest with them, and let's have very open and honest and candid discussions about it. And we're listening. I, for one, am listening. And not every development is going to be a good one. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis and kind of weigh it all out and make an informed decision from that. And I just appreciate Sterling. Sterling is really, he's involved in making lives better. And I know he does a lot of mission work. I kind of like the one we got you in here, Sterling, transition into some of that Ben and our listeners don't know, but I know you've been to Haiti and you're going back. If you don't care, share maybe some of the work that you've done and opportunity you've had there, because I think it's very interesting and it's very important.
I'll be glad to do that. I would say for our community that's listening, there's a call to respond, but it also puts a developer say, hey, we are going to respond. We're going to let our voices be known. We know we got to work together to make our community better. So we want to see the developers come in prepared to explain to the community, this is what's going to take place. Here's what we're building. Here's how we're building it. Here's how it's going to affect your market. Ben needs to know that. Sabrena needs to know that. Our community needs to know, is it going to elevate my property? Is it at least going to maintain the level of which it is? So we want to make sure that people are involved in that process. Haiti. I went there 3 weeks after the earthquake. My first time ever there. It not only impacted my life then, it still impacts my life every day. I was just on WhatsApp this morning with a young lady that lived with us for a year. She's in a very difficult situation. Her name's Diantia. And so we're trying to help her get an education down there. My wife and I, and Shelter Missions International, it's a 501c3 that we started right after the earthquake. You have an opportunity, you can give that. It's a tax exempt gift that you can give. We go down there and we have built a school in the last year. 160 kids are now in school that weren't in school. We're building a medical clinic in the mountains that will service about 17,000 people that have zero medical opportunity to receive any kind of, if you cut yourself, if you're sick, they have nowhere to go. It takes 45 minutes to drive up a riverbed, a mountain riverbed, just to even get up there. 2 hours out of Port-au-Prince. So it's a great opportunity. If people would like to be in that mission, they'd maybe like to go, they'd like to give, maybe sponsor a kid that's in school, sponsor a kid. We will be building an orphanage over the next 5 years up in the mountains so that they can be rescued. Many of these people have absolutely nothing. The average income for a patient is $960 a year. And so you can imagine they still get charged to go to school. They have to have uniforms. They have to have shoes. When they go to school, they're in a uniform and with shoes on. They may be dirt poor, but they have to have that to go into their schools. Many of the schools are Christian schools. It's a great opportunity as we go into schools that we have more opportunity to share the gospel there than we do in our public schools.
Wow. What's the prevalent religion there?
Well, it's very strong Catholic, but there's a mix of voodoo and everything. Wow. Even in the Christian church, they're fearful of
part
voodoo.
Of their culture.
It is part of the culture. The culture of the French pulled out years ago, and when they did, there's 25 years of uneducated people out there, and so that impacted a whole world of people that had no education, and then you got corrupt government. And so now that we know, I know former President Clinton has a place down there. Former President Jimmy Carter has a place. He owns an island down there. And they see people coming in, but it's not really impacting their culture. And that's really what we're about, trying to impact the culture, whether it's here, West Virginia, or in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
And they want to be impacted.
They do want to be impacted. This young lady, Diantia, wants to do something. She wants to be a part of the community. She wants to be a part of life and life abundant. She was raised in an orphanage for 8 years. Her mother died there. Her dad didn't want anything to do with her, put her in the orphanage. The great thing, she got Christian education, got a good education. She's very smart. We brought her here 2 years ago. She had some real bad teeth, and Dr. McCamish actually did that work and did a great job, and he donated all that to fix her teeth.
And he can give you the plane to get down there.
Yeah.
He's got a jet, too. Well, that's really awesome.
That's what it's all about. It's about having an impact, a positive impact on people's lives. And I appreciate everything you and your wife both do, because y'all do a lot. It's a sacrifice to leave your comfort zone and to go out there. I mean, it's very hot there because you just got back, right?
Yes.
I mean,
we went, I was there June the 20th through the 27th, and it's kind of like today. It's very hot, but it's very humid. And so it is a transition of lifestyle, but it really makes the impact when you go in and see how blessed we are. There's nobody in Chattanooga, Tennessee that doesn't have more than most people in Haiti. You take the street person out there.
The homeless. They're in a better place.
They're in a lot better place.
Situation.
When you're eating dirt to get iron for your body, or you're eating one bowl of rice a day, then we're a lot better off.
Wow. Well, hey, Sterling, we really appreciate having you on. And, my grandfather was also in the missions work. And so I've witnessed that. He was basically my father and helped shape my life. So, I think it's important. We only have about 30 seconds left. Give us some words of wisdom. You've done some major sacrifices. Now I understand why you're involved in some comprehensive growth plan, even from just allowing them to centralize at Shelter Church. Give us some words of wisdom, our audience, to us. Give us something important as we clock.
We've all been placed here for a purpose, and that purpose is that we all need to find that out and use it to glorify God. And whatever it is, it doesn't matter what place you've been placed. It's an opportunity to make an impact in somebody's life and impact the culture. So we all have an opportunity to impact the culture, whether it's just with one individual or a group of people. Doesn't matter whether you're a county commissioner, a mortgage person, a man over there, Mark, can do anything. He's impacting a lady's life at her house who's divorced and having to sell a house, and he's helping her. So in that, if we just have a heart to impact people and lift people up instead of push them down, push them away.
We need to live every life with intention. That's what we need to do. We need to be intentional in our actions and realize that, every time we encounter somebody, we don't know what kind of impression we're going to leave them with, and we want to leave them with a good one.
Seek your purpose out today, whether it's, getting involved in this zoning process and developing the community, or maybe it's just helping with the schools that we need to so desperately have for folks. But maybe it's to buy a house. And
that's right. And call us. Call Sabrena Realty, 423-499-7780. Would love the opportunity to serve you. And I know, Ben, you guys do a fabulous job. Tell them how to call you.
All right. Give us a call today, 423-805-9100. We've had some great guests today. We've had Wendell with General Appliance, and he's there to service your needs. And then we've also had Sterling, and I can't, your last name? Chatan with Shelter International. Have a great day, folks. We will see you next week. It's all about homes here on the Sabrena and Ben Real Estate Hour.